Government confirmed today that there's going to be hundreds of people which are going to be coming from Gaza to be given visas to Australia. Now, it makes very obvious sense why these visas are put in place, where we have taken people from war zones before at a serious number and moved through. Certainly, my colleagues, including Sherry Markson, have spoken a lot about the need for security detail, double-checking of things. Knowing the system as you do, that happens, doesn't it, to any and everyone who comes into the country under things like this, or you giggle for what reason?
Because I look at the record of people who've gone through the system over the years who never have got in.
Yeah, fair point.
And you can bet there'll be some who come in who should not. But what really aggravated me was Penny Wong coming out and saying, oh, it's all okay because I gave 1,700 to Israelis. Really? Have you seen them rioting and threatening to kill? No. I mean,
we don't know that these people are the same people who have threatened to kill. I think this is a no-brainer. Again, same as you, we accept people from war zones whose lives are in danger, regardless of which side they're on.
But there is need on this.
Of course, they have to be screened. Yeah.
Well, what's going to be interesting? Again, this is the detail stuff, right? Where they just won't. You know, they'll tell us national security. For the most obvious of reasons. We literally know right now that if you're in Gaza, you can't get out of Gaza unless you can get out the gate at the very bottom of it, of which you have to prove some connection or have an Australian passport. These are people who don't have an Australian passport.
But they do have connections.
Correct. So they've got some connection, right? So they're going through a funnel. But then where do they go, right? Because the checking is not happening at the gate, right? Obviously. So there has to be some level of something that's happening in a third country before we get back here. And I would like to hear a bit more about that.
They would have these people's names, their backgrounds. They would have. They wouldn't be physically checking them, presumably, but they would know enough about them.
But I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with the government coming out and saying, we to believe this is the right thing to do. Now let me tell everyone the process that we've gone through here. But they don't do that.
No, they don't.
Instead, they turn around and say, don't worry about that number because this number balances it out.
Exactly.
No, you don't need to know anything. You're too stupid. Really? Are you?
And the statement that some had they didn't say tangential, but that's what they meant, connection to Australia. In other words, they weren't necessarily
husband,
family,
wife, son, daughter, brother.
It could be anything.
But again, we take humanitarian people with no connection to Australia whatsoever. The important thing is that they're screened at the country of origin. A lot of them are still there, possibly most, as far as I know. And so that is what you want. It is what you want to be doing it this way and making sure the humanitarian program goes to those most in need, instead of someone rocking up in a fishing boat and saying.
And my issue is that any person here on a visa, there has to be a trigger in it that if they do something wrong in the country, straight away. But can you imagine a scenario where we can't send you back there because, and away we go.
Starts the High Court.
Yeah, correct.
They can say all they like that they have done all the checking, but their track record is that they don't do their homework, they haven't done the background work, so they will assume that they haven't done it here either.
Correct. All right, now a couple of other ones before we get going here. Movember is happening as we speak, and of course Nicholas Rees's upper lip is looking the better for it. Please support him, regardless of whether you agree or disagree.
Recognise him.
Yeah, I don't look at him. He's just looking so stylish. He used to they used to say, yeah, look like a porn star. The thing is that it's like he's now starting to look like one from a previous era, right? Like not a real current era.
It looks like a 70s porn star in real time.
Yeah, correct.
It's part of his transition. Don't knock it. I told you he's a good guy. He'll one day get over his socialism and he'll be okay.
But of course, one of the great things about Movember is it is about raising money awareness about men's health, right? Now, Joe, you can pick any industry anywhere about how blokes go with their health, but particularly blokes with mental health and how they don't talk about it. We do not have enough of a conversation about this. Every now and then there's a day, a month, a theme. Yeah. But, you know, amongst blokes, very rarely do we get into proper conversations.
Yeah, and it is a real problem. It's a real barrier. We know that blokes hate going to see the doctor because they hate admitting anything's wrong. They hate talking to other blokes about things that they think might make them look weak or might make them seem not as tough. We like to laugh about things and joke about things instead, brush things aside. I've been at that many. I mean, you know, I'm a charity whore. Let's face it, and because I love the work.
Especially if there's a red carpet.
But no red carpet. No red carpet for me, tragically. But I was at a food bank thing this morning with Robbo and Chris Minns was there as well, and we had someone who was actually who ran a thing called Survivors R Us, which is for DV victims, but they've brought it out and all sorts of other stuff. And the toughest thing and I hear this from Salvo's, Vinny's, Food Bank, everyone. The toughest thing is to actually get people to ask for help.
Correct.
People, especially in the country.
Well, literally, we had this
people feel
conversation
really
Turbans for
strong to say-
Australia,
Yeah.
where those blokes were saying the first step is one of the hardest. And look, all I say is what we said last night about the talking to kids and take the first step. As fearful as it may well seem, it could be the best step you ever take in your life, okay? And your role as a bloke is to have at least one friend who you legit tomorrow will check in on. And by that, I don't just mean, g'day, mate, how are you? It's like, no, mate, how are you? And actually, if there's a pause, keep talking, because there's a good chat to be had there, I promise it.